So, hello, heroes and villains. Welcome to Multiverse. Riddle me this, good sirs. What's the black and red and even a bit of white all over?
You look ridiculous.
Ah, come on, it looks so
Honestly.
cool. You're just being mean.
No.
So,
Everybody in the comments section, tell him how awful he looks right now.
so guys, today we have a big mission. As some of you guys may remember, the evil Nix the Black Mask. We haven't seen him in a while, but he's here today. And today we have a mission, a calling. We have to convince Nix, the evil Nix, to come back to DCUO. So let's get this party started. Hello, Mr. Nix. So how have you been doing so far?
There's a lot to take in right now. I'm still trying to get a bit of a understanding of some of the new stuff. And I watched our last video that we did together, and I'm trying to remember some of the things, like allies and all that stuff, and some artifacts and that kind of thing. But I'm intrigued. I hope you have a lot of good things to show me, and maybe you can convince other people also to come back.
Maybe. One of the biggest changes we had in the past, well, it's almost 2 years ago that we got that changed at the House of Legends. That was a pretty huge change for DC Universe Online. We got a hub where everyone could go to. I don't know, I'm a bit surprised. Like at the time, people were wondering why we had the House of Legends and still had the Watchtower and still had the Hall of Doom. Because at this point, the Hall of Doom and the Watchtower are pretty much redundant. But there would be no point, I guess, in taking those away at this point. Unless, of course, the devs have some sort of plan. Like, I could see a crisis like DLC where worlds would live, worlds would die, and where the Watchtower or the Hall of Doom could be destroyed.
Ooh.
But there's still a few things that we can only get in the Watchtower and the Hall of Doom that we cannot get in the House of Legends just yet. So I'm wondering if they're going to add more stuff to the House of Legends and then eventually get rid of the Watchtower. Although that would be probably a big investment, a big would probably require a lot of man hours and probably a bit of cash. And from the last EG7 presentation, they don't seem to be willing to make big changes like that anymore. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. So how did you like the change with the House of Legends, Mr. Nix?
So it's like learning a new layout all over again. It's bad enough I was trying to understand how the Hall of Doom works when I first came back into the game. And I knew a lot of that just by hand. But like Watchtower, just the difference between those two, and then now I'm having to do that all over again. But I do have to say, it looks really nice. Like, I like a lot of the layout, the various shops that are around, and the R&D vendors and all that stuff. The various NPCs, the various characters that are from throughout all of the episode content. It's actually really interesting, and they have some cool stuff to sell. So yeah, I like it. It's different.
Well, they
I like
finally
it.
decided to lean in into the whole multiverse idea. Like I always thought it was a bit weird. One of the very first thing that the game does is that it introduces you to the concept of the multiverse early on. Like there's this short clip, Earth, the center of the multiverse, and basically they introduce players to the multiverse idea, and they never really used it afterwards. Although they used it a bit for Origin Crisis, but then with the House of Legends, they went full into the multiverse bit, and I was pretty happy with that. The other big change we had at the time was the daily rewards. At the time, they got rid of the stabilizer mission, and they gave us the daily rewards to replace it. The daily rewards replaced the stabilizer mission, the vault, and probably something else I forget. What did you think about the daily rewards?
It was nice up till I heard recently that they've cut a lot of things from that was benefiting the player base. I'm not sure what happened there.
From what I understand, there was some issues with scammers or gold sellers. Like gold sellers would create 1,000 accounts and then collect the daily rewards, and then use that to open a whole bunch of time capsule or stuff like that. I don't know really the details, so I'm a bit hesitant to really go deep into that. But basically, it has to do with the gold sellers, some people that were maybe exploiting or hacking or something like that. So that's why they had to make some of those changes. From
It's
what I
nice though
understand.
to see some of the. Oh, sorry. I was just saying it's
It's
nice
okay.
to see some of the older styles that they have in there. Like they have some fate tokens and they have a little bit of nth metal. Like that's nice. and some Destiny tokens to help you spend up on that. And their reward is nice too. There's some stuff from previous DLCs and episodes to help people catch up. That's a nice feature. That seems like a lot of positives. But if there was things like stabilizers and stuff in here, that doesn't seem good that they took that out. But if they're trying to solve a problem, then hopefully they have a solution to that, and it's better for everybody.
For the stabilizers, they gave us back the stabilizer mission. So, but from what I understand, we do seem to get fewer stabilizers per month with that new system than we did get before. So I didn't do the math myself, so I'm just repeating what I kind of read on the forums. So if it's not quite accurate, I apologize for that. So take that with a grain of salt. It's pretty much secondhand information. Or I didn't crunch the numbers myself. So we still get stabilizer fragments every month. Maybe just not as many as we used to get from the daily rewards. And for the boxes, they added. Let me go to the menu so that it makes more sense. For the daily rewards, they've added some reward boxes, but sadly, if you're pretty much at end game, most of the stuff in those boxes, like the Sun God gear, odds are if you're at end game, you already have that gear. The generator mods, 44.3 at this point, these are pointless. And I was a foolish fool when I did open the Rock of Eternity raid cache. I thought because I wanted my multiverse character to get like the source marks. But I would have wanted to give like the Sun God gear or the generator mod to an alternate character. As sadly, even though the box itself is account bound, once you do open the box, pretty much most of everything that's in the box cannot be traded. So I ended up having to salvage the Sun God gear, I deleted the generator mod, and probably something else I forget. So sadly, if you want, you're gonna have to give it to an alternate character to be able to really benefit from that. But then that alternate character will get the source marks. Again, the prestige token. Again, these if you're at end game, these are probably useless. The quantum residue, you're gonna have to give that to your alternate character. So sadly, there's no way to be able to take what's in the box and give some of it to your main and some of it to an alternate character. So I thought, and for your main, those boxes are worthless other than the 10 source marks. So I was a bit disappointed by that. The exception to that will be we will get one box in a few days. The Cursed Themyscira raid cache. So those will give us like some tarot card, some Godling Wonderpunk gearbox, some 46.3 generator mods. So that would be useful, but it's basically one box out of three that will be really useful. So if you want to give some of the gear to an alternate character, you have to give the whole box to your character because you cannot trade the gear. It's sad, but that's how it is. So don't do the mistake I did. Don't be a foolish fool, and give the box to your alternate character directly.
I'll make sure to make that note. They had other things in there though, right? Like the month item, like the occult detective coat, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Right now is the demonic head style piece.
Yes.
Like, what were some of the other ones like? Like, was there any highlights to any of those? Like, were they any good ones, or just a lot of material that we already had?
There were good ones and not so good ones. But again, it depends also on the character you play. Like we had a Desert Batman headpiece. Obviously, if you have a Batman character, that could be useful to you. But then again, if you have a Batman character, but not really the Desert Batman character, like it was a Batman headpiece. Obviously, if you don't have a Batman headpiece, then it's a good option for you. But if you already have a couple of Batman headpieces and you don't really plan to create, let's say, a Desert Batman armory, then maybe it wasn't that useful. Another headpiece was the Peacemaker headpiece. Again, if you don't recreate the Peacemaker character, is it really useful for a character? The same with Doctor Fate. Although, like some headpieces, like the Doctor Fate headpiece was a highly requested one. So mostly people were happy with that. But there's some of those rewards, like the shroom hat reward. Like there was a mushroom hat reward you could get. What was it, last year for October? That didn't go well. People really didn't like that one. There was also a Kite Man accessory that like a Kite Man doll accessory that we could get. Yeah, let me show it to you.
That's interesting. I didn't know that one even existed.
Oh yeah, it did. Well, it still does. You can purchase it from Dr. Fate at this point.
Ah, okay.
So we had the Kite Man accessory that most people were not very happy about that. Already people are wondering why we're getting so many dolls to begin with. But this one, getting this one as a 21-day reward, people were not happy about that. Oh, but actually, some of the stuff. Let me. Where is it? Where is it? Like some of the rewards we got, like the Torchbearer style. Again, it's somewhat specific to Kyle Rayner, but there are ways to be able to use it even with other characters. Like I think I created Robin from Earth too using that chess piece. So there's ways to be able to use it even if you're not really a Green Lantern or a Kyle Rayner Green Lantern character. So that one was somewhat popular with the player base, at least for a bit. So some of the other stuff we got, like the occult detective, that one did seem to be fairly popular. And again, you could use it for a whole bunch of characters. Like obviously you could use it for John Constantine, that's where it comes from. But you could use it for the Question. You could use it for Dick Tracy. You could use it for the Green Hornet. Like there's a whole bunch of possibilities you had with that trench coat. So, but we did get the Dr. Fate vendor, which is a mixed blessing, I think. Like we do get a whole bunch of Fate tokens every month, but there's not that much stuff we can spend it on. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the Dr. Fate vendor. If you're a new player, there's probably a lot of stuff you want to purchase from that vendor. But if you're an older player, sadly your Fate tokens just pile up because there's not really that much new stuff to purchase from the Dr. Fate vendor. What say you about that? Like since you just came back, you probably did purchase some of the older styles we could get from Dr. Fate.
I will be definitely doing that. I guess I would say my focus should be probably towards artifact stuff. So like the seals, preservation, the seals of completion are, to me, I feel like they're obvious things that I have to have.
Yeah, but
But I guess I
these
don't know.
yeah, but
I don't
these
know what else
required.
is good.
Oh, sorry, but these require Destiny tokens as opposed to Fate tokens. Like
Oh, fate tokens. I would say yeah, I would be focusing on some styles if I'm trying to complete a set style. I haven't started doing that though. I guess I've just been hoarding on to all of it.
well, I guess one of the nice things is like styles like the Starwind Defender style has always been a pretty popular style. Now you can just buy it from Dr. Fate. But once you already have it, what else are you gonna buy? Like the same, there's a Nightwing set of gear, or that Nightwing style that is also available from Dr. Fate now. But again, if you already had it to begin with, then what are you going to spend your Fate tokens for? Like for the Destiny token, yeah, you can get the one thing I buy the most is probably Seals of Completion. Maybe once in a while Seals of Preservation, but the Seal of Completion is pretty much the one thing I truly buy. And maybe something else once in a while that I forget about. So I do have some use from the. Oh, let me check. Like so far, I've accumulated 56 Destiny tokens. So even though I do purchase some stuff with Destiny tokens once in a while, it's a once in a while thing. And for Fate tokens, I'm at 2,000 Fate tokens. And there's a few times where I did purchase some gear to try to level up some alternate characters, but that's pretty much the only real use I could find for Fate tokens at this point. So, but the thing that's really useful is the Destiny token. Oh, we were talking about the 21-day reward, so we can see.
Lords of Order, grant us your favor.
Like for example, if you didn't get the Vampire Cape, then yeah, you can get it during the Halloween seasonal for 100 Fate token. But the Ally Favor cache, at this point I have more Ally Favor than I know what to do with. I don't have enough alliances to be able to rank up my allies. So there's no point in me purchasing Ally Favor, and even then it's Destiny tokens. The same for the Quarks. I have plenty of Quarks, so I wouldn't purchase those. So the only thing I truly purchase is the Seal of Completion, and once in a while I'd get some Seals of Preservation. I'm not sure who would purchase Source Marks at this point. There's the Fuginot gear that if you want to level up an alternate character, so I can't really see anything what would say, oh, I definitely have to purchase those. And whatever items that might be tempting, I already have it. Like the Winter's Tomora is one of the 21-day rewards. Like we were talking about the bang gun. I'll get it, I swear. like we were talking about the bang gun emote earlier. The Cheetah print material. But yeah, the occult detective, the chess piece, that one did seem to be fairly popular with some people. For the sea skin, I saw a few people, but I don't know if it's popular or not. I didn't see people complain about it, but I didn't see that many people use it, so I'm on the fan. I don't have no idea about this one. So again, for the Desert Batman call, it's a nice call, and it's a nice Batman call. But again, if you already have some other Batman call, I don't know if you would use it. And even if you have a Batman character, Do you really need a Batman Desert Cowl? I'm not sure. Let us know, guys, in the comment section if you do. And of course, the Torchbearer Slimline did seem to be a fairly popular one at the time. And the Power Shazam accessory was kind of nice. The Astro Slimline pack was kind of nice. The only sad part about this one is that for the pants, finally we had some pants with the short shorts where there was not a texture already built into the shorts. So if you want to have white shorts now, you can. Sadly, there's some built-in boots with the pants. So if you put the shorts, if you have the short shorts, and to put the shorts, let's say red, you'll have some red boots that goes with it. It's sad, but that cannot be helped. For the Marvelous Wonder Bracers, it's a nice little shield you can have with your character. I didn't see people complain about it, but I'm not sure if it's really popular either. The Classic Champion made people very happy. When I first revealed that in a video about almost a year ago, a lot of people were wondering where can we get that chest piece, so that one did seem to strike a chord. People did seem to like it very much. But again, the Kai doll accessory, people were not happy about that one. The same with the pumpkin shroom hat. The Son of a Batcape, that did make people happy. People have been requesting for a Damian Wayne cape for quite some time, and now we pretty much have it. And actually, it works well also for to create Batman as well, so it works well for both characters. The Two-Face, I haven't seen anyone use that. I don't think people cared very much about that. As opposed to, we got the Batman mask, the Batman inspired mask earlier before that. That one, a lot of people were, again, it was a mixed bag. A lot of people were very happy because they missed out on the mask the first time. But a lot of people were not happy because they had that rare mask, and they were not happy that now everyone would have it. So it was a bit of a mixed bag. And the Monitor Slimline pack was nice enough. The Scarab Exoskeleton emblem and the accessory, that was nice enough. The Perpetua neck piece, that was good.
It looks terrible.
Well, I saw a lot of people call it the toilet bowl neck piece or something like that. So, and at first, people when they first announced it or talked about it, people thought it would be like the little planets she has around her neck. Like that would have been cool, like getting those little planets. But no, it's actually the big bowl thing that she has around her neck. What can you do? For the journalist pack, I see people who keep on asking and asking for more regular civilian clothes. I guess this was to try to appease some of those people. The Ocean Queen hair, there's always more requests for hairstyles, so I guess that made some people happy. The Peacemaker helmet, it was kind of released when the Peacemaker series was released, and it did seem to be somewhat popular, so I guess people were happy about that. The Toothlone cape, that is something that was highly requested for a long time, and it's something that a lot of people can use, so that one was a pretty good option. The Lord of Chaos accessory probably has limited use, but I see some people using it from time to time. And the Helm of Nabu, that was a highly requested item, and now here it is. And the same also for the Blue Beetle style. And again, the Blue Beetle style was highly requested. And when we did get it at first in the daily rewards, people were very happy for a short while. Like once the daily rewards were behind us, people were wondering how can we get the style nowadays, and it took it took about a year and some change to finally have it on the Dr. Fate vendor once more. But now here it is, and people were pretty happy about it. So we have the enhanced version in the box, or we can purchase the regular version and individual pieces. So for the box, it's going to cost 1 Destiny token, but for the Blue Beetle style, the regular version, it's going to cost you Fate tokens. So I guess that's one use of the Fate tokens. And then, of course, at some point, they added some Batman Day t-shirts that we could purchase from here. And, of course, there's some PvP style, like the Gotham Knight style, and the Eventual Surgeon style that we can purchase here. And there's also the styles we could get from Prometheum log boxes, like the Cyborg style, the Batgirl style, the Court of Owls style, and, of course, the Wonder Woman style, the New 52 Wonder Woman, and the New 52 Superman. And then, of course, a whole bunch of stuff that we used to get from the vault that now we can purchase here. And, of course, the items like the Gloves of Clinging, the Speed Boots, the Joker Jetpack. So those we can get here nowadays. But again, if you already had those to begin with, like if you've been playing DC Universal Line for a long time, odds are you already have all of those items. So you don't have that much use for Fate tokens at this point.
I will say though, a lot of the various styles that you went over, I would say the first year's worth of these styles, like the Peacemaker helmet and all those ones, I think that set was probably better, a little more impactful than what we have for this year, if I was to compare the two. Yeah, sure, there are some good highlights in this year's, like the Sandstorm Vengeance Cowl, but it kind of falls short with some of the starting uh, uh, Destiny token styles that we have here. So it's kind of interesting.
Well, it kind of goes into what styles the devs decide to give us. So I'm not sure how they decide which style to give us, but also it may be a juggling act between what the devs want to give us and what DC Comics allows them to give us. So it's kind of hard to know for sure exactly what's going on. And one of the things you could use your fate tokens was to purchase. We could purchase one stabilizer per week. So that was the one thing that actually could allow us to spend at least some of the fate tokens. But again, it was like how much was it? Was it 50 fate tokens? So we weren't spending that much fate tokens on that box, but at least we had one reason to spend fate tokens, which sadly we don't have anymore.
It sounded very reasonable too. It's too bad that they took it out. I see in here that they have like renowned booster boxes here for relatively cheap. That's not bad for a returning player who maybe needs to work on their renown to buy some of those. That's not bad. That's not bad. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I suppose, but I'm not too crazy. Like I at some point I tried, like I didn't know what to do with my marks, my currency. So at some point I did try some of those boxes, and I foolishly thought it gave us like twice the renown or something like that. But it's only like was it 25% extra? So it didn't seem worth it to me. So that was one of the big changes we got for the House of Legends, the Dr. Fate vendor. But there's also another vendor they've added at some point. Let's go to the Cheetah vendor. So they've added a Cheetah vendor. You probably missed out on a whole bunch of you probably need a whole bunch of base items to decorate
Hmm.
your new bases. So Cheetah could be a good option for that. Although
All legitimately acquired. Promise.
like they've added some furnishing tab with some luxurious base items, even some of the classic base items. But like the Justice League Dark, kind of hard to purchase those at this point. We don't have that much currency for the Justice League Dark, and there's still a whole bunch of gear to purchase at this point. So I guess it's something we can purchase later on. But we do have basically base items from a lot of the previous DLCs. And we're supposed to get more in the future. Not just more base items from other DLCs, but more base items. Like basically, the furnishing tab was a nice addition. And if they keep on adding new base items that don't necessarily come from the diverse DLCs, it's going to be kind of nice to be able to purchase them here, as opposed to relying on the broker, assuming that people do sell those on a broker. Sadly.
I do like how they've organized it though per DLC to be able to see as to what are the various base items per DLC. I like that. That's a nice touch.
Sure.
I'm not too crazy about it costing the currency of that DLC though, because I mean, I would think the base items are fairly common to acquire. Though I guess if you wanted a specific one in particular, this is a good way to find it. But just in general, I'm not willing to spend my currency. I don't think on a base item unless I'm trying to upgrade up the base in particular. But it's nice I can have all the various episodes and I can cycle through all of them and I can see what was nice and which ones I can avoid.
Well, I guess later on, once you're pretty much done with a DLC, and you keep on earning marks for that DLC, you could spend those marks here to purchase those base items. Or later, way later down the line, eventually those base items will cost the source marks. So if somehow you cannot get those items from the broker for whatever reason, yeah, you could get them here as a sort of last resort. And here we have the cyborg vendor. Did you have any issues trying to use it? Because basically there's a mission quest you have to do in the House of Legends first, and then afterwards you have to go fight the evil Batman who laughs in the Boom Tube. And only after completing the mission, and I think you also have to upgrade to start upgrading one ally, and then you get access to the cyborg vendor.
So,
Yeah,
what you
I
need?
like that introduction mission. I wish there was a little bit more in depth little more explanation on the allies. Like maybe we had the chance to be able to try out multiple allies. Like during the fight, I wish it would be like, okay, now you need to summon Batman for this part of the fight, and now you need to summon Aquaman for this part of the fight. Oh well, I still like it though. Nice mission.
Originally, we could only purchase legendary alliances from the marketplace, and their game plan was to sell the legendary allies on the marketplace only, and the same with the legendary alliances. So it was going to be a pretty costly proposition for those allies. Luckily, early on, people pretty much rebelled against that idea. So they've added the legendary alliances, and they've added all the allies from the marketplace to the Cyborg vendor, which was a much welcome change. Although even then, 35 source marks for legendary alliances, you go through a lot of source marks really quick because you need a lot of legendary alliances, especially for an ally that you can rank up to rank 10. What's your take, Mr. Nix, on the ally system so far?
So I've noticed there are some staples that some people tend to use, like when it comes to doing DPSing. I see a lot of the Watchtower maintenance bot. I see the crypto bot very often, Batman who laughs occasionally. There seems to be a lot of staples depending on your roles, which I think that's nice, but there adds a lot of flexibility, which I really do like when it comes to allies. Like there's a Cyborg for if you need power back for controlling and that kind of stuff. There's the new ones that we have out right now, like Satana. That looks interesting. I heard there's also one for Tikal. I think that's crazy. The sheer amount of flexibility that they can have with allies, I think that's a real game changer for this game.
Yeah, there's a Tikal ally on the Halloween vendor. So basically, most of the allies are here on the Cyborg vendor, but there are some allies that you can only get with Time Capsule. Like in the case of, let's say, the Zod ally, you have to open the Kryptonian General Time Capsule. I think you have to open 25 of those Time Capsules. Usually that's a number. Like if you open 25 of certain Time Capsules, you do get the ally by default. I assume those allies eventually... let's go to Booster Gold. I assume those allies eventually will be available on Booster Gold, but it'll take a while before we get there. And of course, for the Tikal ally, let's go to the Halloween vendor. So for the Tikal ally, it is something you will be able to get from the Halloween vendor. Sadly, it will only be available during the Halloween seasonal. So you can see here you can get it for 50 spooky bits. But it's only going to be available during the Halloween seasonal. So it's going to be available for a limited amount of time each year. Some of you guys were asking if it would be added to the Cyborg vendor. The answer to that is no. You will have to purchase it during the Halloween seasonal. It's sad, but that's how it is. Tell me, Mr. Nix, do you have the Tikal ally?
No, I don't. I've been intrigued about that. I wonder what it can do. I don't know a whole lot about that. I don't know what I could possibly get into with that.
Basically pounces on one enemy and then calls him a bit. Or if you use it with his passive ability, when you lunge at that enemy, you gain some health back. That's the gist of it.
Oh, that sounds like an artifact or an ally that would be useful for a tank, perhaps.
Oh,
okay. So again, like I said, there's some roles that we're starting to get out of some of these allies. I really do dig that. That's very interesting to me.
And you almost misstepped and talked about the artifact. So let's go see our friend Constantine. For Constantine, there wasn't much changes when you got the House of Legends. The only real difference is that since then we got some new artifacts. Although for a while we didn't get new artifacts because whoever did the artifacts before sadly kind of left with Jackster. Took them a while to be able to train someone else to make artifacts. But now they seem to be wanting to make artifacts for roles. So right now with this DLC, we did get the brand of Hecate. I'm struggling with that word. What can I say? And it seems to be an artifact specific to controller, but also to try to make controller be able to do a bit more DPS. They've been trying to kind of make controllers a bit more useful. Sadly, the way they seem to be going about it is by making them do a bit more DPS than they used to. They don't want the controller to do as much DPS as the DPSs, but they do want to get it to make a bit more DPS than they used to.
So, I mean, when it comes to some of these artifacts here, it's nice that I can have access to any of these at any given point in time. So if I ever have any flexibility moments and I'm saying to myself, okay, well, maybe I wanted to switch up my roles, it's easy to find out which artifacts I need. I can come to here and I can look them up and I can figure out which one's recommended best for me. As for what you were saying, though, about the controllers battling it out against the DPSing, so it sounds like that's trying to benefit what they called the battle troll. And I remember back in the day, a battle troll is essentially somebody who's in a controller position, but they just do a lot of DPSing with their various gears. It is nice that they're trying to gravitate to those individuals and not making them feel left out. I heard that there was one for a healer at one point also, so it does seem nice that they're trying to gravitate to these specific ideals that are out there for their specific artifacts. Pretty interesting.
Yes, for the healer. Let me see if.
Bloody heroes. Bloody villains. I think Brainiac is doing us all a favor by thinning the herd.
I have to go to my bank. Oh, the Clarion. So there it is. So basically, it's called the Clarion, and what they've done is that when you attack, is it weapon attack or any attack? Okay, when you attack with your weapon attack, it heals you and I forget if it's the whole group or some people in the group, depending on the rank of the artifact or something. So yeah, it's a similar idea where you can do a bit more DPS by attacking with your weapon, and as you do that, you heal the group as well. So yeah, they and I remember at the time I'm on the forums I mentioned something like there's enough people trying to be battle troll. We don't really need to encourage that. And Maps' reply to that was, well, yeah, there's a lot of people who try to be battle trolls, so let's give them something. Let's make something for them. So yeah, it makes some sense, I suppose. The issue is that there's so many players who focus too much on damage and don't really heal, that giving them one more reason to focus on damage instead of healing.
Exactly. It's a problem.
It's a problem, but apparently it was intended for them to be able to do a bit more damage. So what can you do? And now they're doing the same with trolls, because sadly, yeah, a lot of trolls, a lot of group, if you're not a buff troll, they don't want you in the group. So you have to either bend the knee and play as a buff troll. But I guess by adding some extra damage, then people won't care if you play as a troll, since you can do. I'm not sure if you can do as much damage as the DPS. I didn't crunch the numbers. Obviously, Chill probably knows about that.
You do see a significant boost though, and with all the people throwing on top of that, like the various, like there's tiers to buff trolling, and it's crazy. Because with the amount of artifacts of what an individual could have, they could artifact swap out like 6 health-based artifacts. And with the more health you have, the more damage you're going to give off to everybody else. So I'm just worried that there are going to be some groups that are going to be out there that are going to straight up ask you, are you layered with your buff trolling? Like, do you have multiple artifacts all at once? Because like if not, you're not running with it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No, I can see that happening. Well, we already kind of see that. If you don't have a specific build in certain groups, they just don't want you.
Very true. Very true. I remember that back in the day too. Yeah, for sure.
Well, the first time I noticed that was with the Origin Crisis. Way back when, if you did not have the latest mods or the latest gear, people didn't want you in the group. And
It's wild.
yeah, well, the first week I played, I think I played Paradox Wave the first week, and even though I knew what to do, I knew the mechanics, I had completed the raid, I couldn't get in the group after that. People would inspect me, I didn't have the latest mods, I had the Single Knee of Shoulders as the latest gear, and usually when I mention that, the answer is something along the line, well, form your own group. It was the same. You try to form a group, to create a group, and people would join the group, inspect you, see you didn't have the latest mod, the latest gear, and they would leave the group.
Bail, yeah.
So, so Origin Crisis was a nightmare for me, and I couldn't get into freaking groups. So that's pretty much when I started playing solo more than anything else. But it was educational, because it kind of taught me how to play solo. So that was a mixed bag, I suppose. So, Mr. Nix, what about the pet? They've added a pet vendor, and of course they've changed the pets so that we now have 3 tiers of pets. What say you about that?
So by the looks of all these pets, they look really expensive. So I hope they really carry your role of whatever you're trying to accomplish. I have heard that some of them, like the mother box and the father box, tend to be a staple when it comes to doing damage to that. Like the Brainiac turret, I've heard that's pretty good as well, the LexCorp. Yeah, it's nice that they have these, and it allows you to be able to have quicker access to these pets if you were unlucky to get them. So I imagine you get them in the content, right? Or whatever it is. That's how you get them.
Yeah, in some cases you get it, but there's some that we got as gifts at some point. Like, let me try to find one. There's some like the Paradox Gazer that we got as a free gift at some point, and there was no other way to be able to get it. So if you missed out on those free gifts, you could not get the pet anymore. But then they've decided to add those pets to this vendor. The same for there's the Batman drone, or where is it? Like there's the Bat drone that used to be available only with the collector's edition of DCUO way back when. Although it's not exactly the same drone, like the drone that came from the Batman's collector's edition, that was a pet that you could summon and it would stay with you forever. As opposed to the Bat drone is one of those pets that you summon and disappears after 30 seconds. But they did give us at least a newer version for those who missed out on that collector's edition drone. So there's a few pets that came from like there's the Control Starro. I think that was a gift we got at some point, and then they finally added here, and then at some point they even added it to I think the Deluge DLC. Or am I crazy? Yeah, they've added it to the Deluge DLC. So they revamped the whole pets at some point in the 3 tiers, and some of the pets we could no longer get. They've added to this vendor, but again, in some cases they've even added them to some of the DLCs. But yeah, they are a bit expensive, but you can also get them from the broker. Let's go check the broker.
I did see that a lot of those pets, you had to have the headlines from the various DLCs. That just makes sense to me. In order to be able to get like the Alfred box, you have to complete like the Legion of Doom. I think that might have been that DLC, so that makes sense to me.
So you can get them from the broker, like the Alfred box, 100 million. It's a bit more expensive than I remembered. So in some cases they're very expensive. In other cases they're fairly cheap. Like you can see here, the Phoenix. The Phoenix is 25 million. Oh, the Mother box. Like the Mother box tier 3 is a bit less than 15 million. So you can get some of those easily enough. So even if you don't play elite missions, like in some cases you have to play elite missions to get those items. But even if you don't play elite missions, you can still get a tier 3 pet easily enough. But you will have to roll your sleeves and play the broker at least a little bit. Although in the case of the Mother box, it drops from Orion, if I recall correctly, from the Wonderverse DLC. The Orion bounty, that seems to be where Mother box is dropping from. But I don't know what the drop rate is. You probably have to be really lucky, and even more lucky to get the tier 3. I got the Mother box a few times, but I usually get only the tier 1, so the less bad option for me to get the tier 3 was to just buy it from the broker.
At least with that shop though, it gives you an option of, if you're feeling unlucky, you're not getting the drop, you now have an option. You can spend source marks by completing from that DLC. Now, Multiverse, I know from my experiences working with DCUO, and I have a good feeling there was a lot of time capsules I've missed out on. Like, surely there's got to be some good ones that you have for us. What do you have?
There's some good ones and some not so good ones. What was the last time capsule when you played? Do you recall?
Now, Multiverse, I know DCUO, and I know one thing in particular that they like to do as a form of content is time capsules. Surely there's got to be some good ones. There's probably some bad ones. What say you?
Oh yeah, there's some good ones and some less good ones. Also, there was also at some point, I know you've heard about that, is where a whole bunch of devs did leave with Jackster. Like Jackster left DCUO, and there's 9 or 10 devs that left with him. So that did create a lot of, let's say, problems for the devs that remained. And one of those problems was making new stuff like new time capsule, to the point where at some point they released an epic collector's time capsule, which was pretty much a time capsule that had that did not have no assets. It had a lot of reused assets that they tried to resell as time capsules. But one of the time, some of the time capsule that were well received, I think, was the Wondrous time capsule. You were able to get a nice Wonder Woman style from that time capsule. The Blue Misty Star aura was kind of nice to have. And also there was the Wonder Woman hairstyle. It was something that was highly requested, and finally people who wanted it for their Wonder Woman character, they finally had an official Wonder Woman hairstyle. But there's other time capsules like the Joker's Legacy time capsule that sadly didn't have all that much to do with the Joker. They made a Joker time capsule, but the style they actually gave us was the two-faced clown style, which was basically the Joker's daughter style. Yeah, if you get the male version, it kind of sort of could work for a Joker style, but it's not really a Joker style. Also, they gave us like the doll skin set, which you have to wonder, like in a Joker time capsule, why not give us the Joker skin? Again, it's something that's been highly requested, so it's kind of hard to understand why they didn't use that opportunity. And stuff like the wild style hairstyle, I didn't see a lot of people that were very happy about that. And also, we saw it in the numbers. First, whenever I made videos about time capsule, basically from the number of people watching the video, I can tell if it's a popular time capsule or not. But also, when we looked at the broker, when a time capsule is popular, items can be sold for a lot of money in the broker, and sadly, when it's not so popular, prices drop like a rock. And in the case of the Joker's Legacy time capsule, the price did drop very quickly. And we saw it recently even with the Batman Eternal time capsule. The price for some of those items, like the perplexing material, the price did go way down pretty quickly, sadly. So the Wondrous time capsule was a good one. Joker's Legacy not so good. For the Luthor one, it was somewhere in between. The Secret of Kondak, it did seem to be popular at first, but there's items like the Battle Damage Slimline, that was a popular item. So there was a few gems, but there's hieroglyphic scans also. People did seem to enjoy those. But the Mastermind accessory, I didn't see a lot of people very excited about that. So for the Secrets of Conduct time capsule, it was a bit of a mixed bag. But the Neon Technomancer time capsule, like this was supposed to be a Cersei time capsule, and they decided to give us a cybernetic Cersei style sort of. So the time capsule didn't really have much to do with Cersei. I can sort of understand that we already had the two Cersei styles in the game, but again, it's a Cersei time capsule. They could have found an alternate style for Cersei that we didn't have in the game and put that in the time capsule. Instead, they decided to make a cyberpunk time capsule. What can they do? Like, if they really wanted to make a cyberpunk time capsule, they had opportunities to do that. They could have made a cyborg Superman time capsule. That would have given them the
That
cyberpunk.
sounds awesome.
But then again, maybe they wanted to make their own thing. So maybe they wanted to make their own cyberpunk style as opposed to having to make a cyborg Superman style. Who knows? So the idea of giving us a techno cyberpunk time capsule wasn't a bad idea, but hijacking the Cersei time capsule to do that, I guess people didn't like that so much. And of course, we got the Kryptonian General time capsule. That one, as far as I recall, did seem to be received very well. Especially the emblems. Like a lot of people were very happy, even though we did not get the official Superman emblem that people were hoping for that time capsule. We did get a whole bunch of Superman emblem, the 1 million Superman emblem, the Descendant of Superman emblem, or something like that. Like there's a few, so the Sunshine Superman emblem or a Chinese Superman emblem. Like people were pretty happy about those. Like the Chinese Superman emblem, I was really surprised. It was pretty expensive on a broker at some point. So there did seem to be quite a demand for those. So that did seem to make people happy. And the Zod style was pretty cool looking. It looked even better when you used the metallic chroma material on it. So that did seem to make people happy, at least for a bit.
And last but not least, the Batman Eternal. Surely there's got to be some good things in this time capsule.
Well, the Riddler material, of course.
Oh boy.
Well, the one good thing in that time capsule is probably the Batman Eternal emblem. I forget what it's called. The Batman Future State emblem. Uh, it gives us an alternative for a Batman emblem. Like there's the Future State Batman emblem that made a lot of people very happy. because it did give them an alternative version to be able to get a nice Batman emblem. Yeah, it's not the Batman emblem, but it's a good option nevertheless.
Not bad. Looks nice. Looks interesting. Looks different. Well, hopefully it's different from some of the other things that what we have. We have so many bat emblems, it's hard to keep up with it these days.
Although there's also the Forever Batman emblem. This one could kind of work to recreate the Batgirl. Obviously, it's not exactly it, like the shape of the emblem, not quite the same.
I do like how a lot of the character art is being updated a lot in the game. They're trying to get some sort of facelift to some of these individuals.
Well, they did mention at some point that we probably wouldn't get a big graphic update, but we do get a small graphic update bits by bits whenever they upgrade an NPC, or even sometimes they'll upgrade some of the maps. So yeah, they're not giving us the huge graphic updates that people are hoping for, but we do get some updates a little bit at a time. And what say you, Mr. Nix, about the two DLCs we got this year?
So it sounds like we got in April Shock to the System. So that would involve Static Shock and Ebon. That was a good little episode there. It didn't feel like there was enough effort put into the content from what I've seen. The terrarium, it's like just a box. It seems like there's not a whole lot added to it. The open world looks lovely. I had a chance to explore that a bit. Of course, we have those new allies that pertain to that, like Static and Blue Beetle. He's one of the vendors that's out there. Yeah, it's interesting. There's some decent content with that. I liked the duo. That was a fun duo with a lot of those characters from Static Shock showing up for the first time. I really did appreciate that. So yes, Shock to the System was okay. It could have been better. Chemo added as another boss. Yeah, I mean it's okay. It's a little overdone. I'm really liking this DLC though that's come out right now, Justice League Dark. So that's part 2, I think, right? Because that is with Hecate or Hecate or however you want to pronounce it, and she's trying to go after all the magicians around in the game. And I do like that. The solo instance is a lot of fun, going up against Wonder Girl and Satana. It kind of seems like reused fights, because essentially they're just the same kind of fight models that we've had. Maybe they've had different mechanics pieces here or there added to it, but it kind of looks like we're just fighting the same people over again. And the maps, I mean, there's some people who will say, yeah, you know, we're reusing the same maps. I mean, come on now. You can't talk like that. It's just ridiculous at this point, because there's so much given that the DLCs have here for you. And I really like the open world, even though it's just Gotham. But yeah, it's interesting. The alert is a lot of fun. It's nice to see Deadman again, and it's a good style. Also seeing that the OP piece for that DLC, this is the current one, is Gentleman Ghost. That's very nice. There's a lot to like about this DLC. It's just fresh. It's only just started here in October. So I wonder where they're going to go from here. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. The Satana ally looks really interesting. There's a lot of potential. So hopefully they can continue going this route. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's enough content in a year. Just 2 DLCs. There used to be 3 at one point, right?
Yeah, it used to be 3 for quite a bit. Normally it's the 3 DLCs per year. It's been like that for quite some time. Although at some point they did give us 2 DLCs, like when we got the PlayStation 4, they did make an update for the PlayStation 4. So that time we did not get 3 DLCs. We got 2 DLCs, or even with the House of Legends. Technically, the House of Legends counted as a DLC, but not really. And of course, last year we did get 2 DLCs: the Sins of Black Adam. I forget the one before that, and this year again we got 2 DLCs. So sadly, for the past couple of years, 2 DLCs seems to be the new normal. I'm hoping that it's only because they were short-staffed. Basically, at some point, Jackster, as we mentioned before, at some point Jackster did leave with like 9 or 10 devs. So that did leave them short-staffed. They were already short-staffed to begin with, and then losing all those people made them even more short-staffed. they were able to fill in the ranks with some of the people that were working on the Marvel game, and they were able to hire some more people. Like not too long ago, I think they got a new producer that was hired. So there was some reasons why we did get only 2 DLCs, and it wasn't because the devs want to give us 2 DLCs. At least it doesn't seem to be the case. So hopefully next year we'll get back to getting 3 DLCs, because sadly 2 DLCs is just not enough content. And the break between Shock to the System and the Justice League Dark Cursed DLC was way too long. And there's a lot of people that disappeared that sadly didn't come back, because after waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 months for a new DLC, some people just lost interest. Hopefully some of them will come back in the future if we do get more content. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. So Mr. Nix, were you able to convince you, did we succeed in our mission? Were we able to convince you to make a comeback to this Universe Online? With all the new stuff and all the stuff you missed while you were gone.
You know, I gotta be absolutely honest. There's a lot of things I've definitely missed about this game. I mean, just thinking about it from a returning player coming back into this game, just thinking about all the friends I want to reconnect up with, alliance mates that I'd like to work with, just exploring DLCs just in general, and like allies. I'm still getting hooked into allies. There's a lot of good potential in this game right now. I know it's kind of on a downward slope, but like just coming back and being a casual player again, I think I want to have that experience again. But you know what though? I don't know if this particular suit, this particular look is the way I want to go. Tell you what, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. We'll make this better. You know what? Hero side. Interesting. How do I look? How do I feel now? I feel better, don't you think, Multi?
Well, you look better, that's for sure.
You know what? It's because, guys, I've been back now for a few months. I left the game for about 2 or 3 years. I wasn't really happy with the state of the game and the various things that was happening, and I wanted to come back to get that social experience, to be able to reconnect up with a lot of my friends again, and just try to stick to a more casual gameplay. So I've actually been back now for about 3 months. I'm actually already beating my previous skill points. Shows you how much of a grind fest I've been doing compared to where I was before. But I'm re-enjoying the game all over again. And I gotta say, that's the experience I really wanted the most. So if you did see NixTheBlackMask, that is my new main, that is my hero side, that's who I've been working with. If you see me, you sent me tells, wondering who I am, wondering, hey, I thought Nix left. Nah, this was me the whole time. It's great to be back, it's great to be able to play once again, and I can't wait to be able to talk to all of you who have questions about why I've come back, or if you want to work with me on content. And maybe there's some future videos that Multi and I can cook up with. Like maybe I can work with him on some seasonals or something like that. And maybe something like Live at Fives? What do you say, sir? Think we can do that again?
Yeah, just there's a few things I have to take care of before I can even consider doing some Live at Fives. Although, like, I have a little doggy now, and I'm not sure how to probably do it. Like, sometimes a doggy will barky bark, sometimes not. Usually it's pretty quiet, but once in a while it'll go a bit crazy. And if that happens during a Live at 5, I didn't come up with a system just yet on what to do if that happens. Obviously, the obvious thing would be to go... Oh, you mean?
Sorry, go ahead.
Too late?
I was gonna say, I could just take over for a moment and just talk while you're dealing with whatever it is. Yeah, sure, your character may be stagnated, but at least we could keep talking about whatever our subject was, or whatever we were doing.
So basically I have a few things also to take care of before I can actually get back to doing live streams. It's a bit cryptic, but it's the best I can do right now.
Gotta say though, there's a lot of content I can't wait to explore. Like, there's a lot of DLCs. I missed out on about 6 DLCs. So I've been slowly coming back into these various episodes. And heck, even today, I was learning more about the Legion of Doom DLC. Two of which, by the way, somehow Black Manta is still in the open world, and somehow he's alive, and this game did not explain how he survived Atlantis. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I can look past that. I'm a visionary. I can look past it. No worries. But overall, I'm just looking forward to coming back into the game, working with people like Multiverse and any of you guys, just trying to enjoy the game once again. There's a lot of positives that I have enjoyed about the game. Sure, I have my gripes as well, like what's happened to controllers and to various artifacts and stuff like that. But I gotta be honest, Allies has me incredibly intrigued. And there's a lot more than just Allies. The content in itself looks pretty cool. I have a lot to explore, and I can't wait to get started on. So Multiverse, I gotta be honest with you, I am convinced. And I can't wait to get myself started off on my new adventures in these various DLCs. Thanks very much, I appreciate it.
That is nice to hear. But I have to warn you though, like I know one of the reasons you wanted to make this video was that sometimes people see you in the game and they wonder, are you really NixTheBlackMask? Sadly, this video won't stop that. It happens to me all the time. Very often, I'll get into a group, start a mission, and then I receive tells, are you really Multiverse? Or in the open world, the same thing happens. So that happens to me all the time, despite people knowing that, yeah, like if they should see my character, see the name, and kind of realize that it is me, but a lot of people are not sure, so they ask. So I'm sure they'll ask you again also.
And I guarantee you, I'm not an AI voice. I swear to you, I am the real Nix.
Come on. You sound like ChatGPT to me.
It's definitely the real Nix. I guarantee you that.
So there we go, good sir. So, any last words you want to say before we call it a day?
To those that subscribed to my account at one time, to those who worked with the Nix School, to those that I had in my alliances, whether it be in Evil, whether it be in Omnipotence, wherever I was, I'm sorry for leaving the game in the way that I did. If I could do that all again, I'd totally do that all over again and handle it a lot better. When I leave a video game of any kind, I get rid of everything so that I don't try to come back to it. I got rid of my artifacts, I killed off my armories, I killed off my characters one at a time. I didn't plan on coming back here in the absolute slightest. But here I am, gravitating once again to the game, seeing the various DLCs and wanting to reconnect with a lot of you. So if you have yourself a chance, send me a tell, say hi, I'll be happy to talk to you. It's great to be back, and it's great to be here and working with you again.
But I'm very disappointed. You could have gotten rid of your cash by sort of putting it in my bank account.
I didn't have much, man. I spent everything, even my stabilizers. I did everything I possibly could to not make it seem like I should be coming back here or not, but yet here I am once again. The battle continues.
That's all right. We're just happy to get you back, good sir.
It's good to be back. It really is.
So guys, that's going to be pretty much it for today. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys some other time. Bye bye, guys.
Take care.